For the first time ever, on tour, the not even close to getting on Broadway show, Touch Your Toes and Smile, heralded as the most confusing and utterly offensive show of all time. If Jesus was going to come back, this show ensures he won't do it in his lifetime, writes Nicholas O'Kelly of the Sit and Spin Network. You'll cry for humanity as a 6-hour show takes us through the life of a dead pony, Edward, as he rots on stage. Touch Your Toes and Smile will bring the worst of life and the best of death together. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster or call 555-1234 for a fake number.
Nicholas O'Kelly, if I may.
Yeah. Well, just a couple of questions. I've got a long night.
So it was said that you had very unhappy comments to say about Touch Your Toes and Smile, the kind of comments that would upset school children. What do you have to say about that, sir?
Listen, let me tell you something, okay? We're talking about art here. All right, I came to see an artistic display, and for a show that's called Touch Your Toes and Smile, I saw very little smiles on stage and off stage, and I certainly saw no touching of the toes. I wanted to see some toe touching, actual gymnastics. All I saw was a rotting carcass on stage for 6 hours. Very disappointed. Very, very disappointed tonight.
Of course, in the play, on the playbill, they tell you exactly what's going to happen in the play, and they pre-warn you. In fact, there's warnings before you go into the play that say, if you're offended by this kind of stuff, you shouldn't go. What made you go, sir?
Yeah, see, listen, I thought that was all a metaphor for my own internal soul, rotting away within the greater media. And so I thought it was going to be a very clever show with a guy and a girl and, marriage and happiness and loving, And I didn't see any of that. In fact, all I saw was, the rotting flesh of a pony. There was some dissection, which was quite interesting, but the smell was so bad that I actually vomited on the face of the lady right behind me. And I hope that she's okay, because it actually got up in her nose and she had to leave. So she didn't even get to see the last 4 hours. And that was just the start of it, let me tell you. If God was going to come back, like Jesus, he would not be coming back today because of how bad this was.
Sir, is it true that you're a big fan of William Shakespeare?
Big fan. Huge fan.
Okay. Were you aware that this play was actually the last work of William Shakespeare before he hung himself?
Oh. Well, let me tell you something. Now I'm a huge non-fan of Hamlet. In fact, thinking about it now in retrospect, I think I now understand the undertones of bestiality that went forth in Hamlet. Yeah, I get it. I get it now. You know what? Screw you, William Shakespeare. I'm going to stick with J.K. Rowling.
Okay. Any other? No further questions. Thank you, Nicholas.
Well, that was our first press conference. How'd you like that?
It was, very eye-opening. It was good to see you under pressure fight back.
A rotting pony. Where do you come up with this stuff?
I got to tell you, Nick, I just sit at home and I say the first thing that comes to my mind. I write it down and then I quickly record it and send it to you to make you laugh. That's my whole goal in the whole thing.
It made me laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting here just literally cracking up. Literally cracking up.
Oh, wow. Wow. Literally?
Literally.
Oh, man.
Very literally.
Wow.
Not even fake laughing.
Wow.
It was so real.
Yeah.
That even you would have thought that I was actually laughing.
I can't believe it. I got to tell you, Nick, it's been a lot of fun making a lot of this stuff lately. I've been blessed, not by God, but blessed by myself to allow me to...
It is Easter. I mean, come on.
It was Easter, Nick. Easter was 8 or 7 days ago. But the important thing to remember is... Actually, today is the unorthodox.
Yeah, exactly.
Easter, the 8th. You're right.
That's
sorry. You know what? You know way more about this stuff than I do. I haven't been to to church in a long time.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
We a lot of our dates come from the Jewish calendar, which is all kind of messed up now.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into it.
Thank
but
you.
the point is, the original dates were a little different.
Well, you know what, Nick? God love you for that.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, I really enjoy going home and doing this stuff and really trying to make something good, because my hope is in time, as our show becomes just huge and famous, that we get some work to do these commercials for people like you.
That's the whole idea.
Yes, that's right. I'm here to show you our talents, show you what we're capable of, and of course we'll make them a little bit more PG and less stupid.
We're showcasing our talents to you so that you can pay for them.
Exactly. And if you order right now for $1,995.95, you can get a national spot. That's it.
Right now, $99,999.99.
95.
Or is it 95?
95. I appreciate that.
We want more money.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So, Nick, how you been? How's this week? You're about to go to Disney.
That's right. In fact, we'll be in Disney as of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very excited about it. Going to be staying in Port Orleans, French Quarter. I've stayed there before. It's a resort completely representative of New Orleans.
Yeah.
One half of the resort is called Riverside, and it's the Bayou.
Yeah.
The other side, we've stayed there before. It's separate resorts, but they're all under the same umbrella.
Very good.
Now we're in French Quarter, so it actually looks like the city of New Orleans. You walk down the streets.
Yeah.
There are like statues that look like characters as a jazz band marching through the street.
Yeah.
There is a food court that looks like, it looks like New Orleans.
I have
Very
to ask
cool.
you a question, Nick.
Yeah.
Are you going to have beads?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can get beads there.
Okay.
They have very well-themed merchandise that I will be buying.
Wonderful. Second question.
Yes.
If it's so great going to a fake New Orleans, why don't we go to a real one?
No.
Okay. I was just throwing it out there. Okay. I imagine it'd be a little cheaper to go to the other New Orleans, being that it was just flooded 12 years ago.
Yeah. I'm a little scared to go to New Orleans, to be
Why?
honest. Well, it's just, it's all the partying in the streets, and,
See, that's Disney's version of it. You haven't been to the real New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the real New Orleans, people will kill you.
Oh, okay. Now, listen, I don't want to get too graphic for this show.
Here we go.
But do you remember, it's been maybe 3 years or so, where a guy was arrested during Mardi Gras for teabagging. If you know what that is.
Yes, I know what teabagging is, Nick.
Publicly,
Yes.
he pinned a guy down in a violent act.
Yeah.
I guess they got into a fight.
Yeah.
Now, this would be a great way to win a fight.
Yeah.
You got to give credit where credit's due.
I wouldn't see it coming.
But
I'll give you that.
most people would just punch somebody out.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy pinned him. He didn't punch him. He pinned him and then placed his,
yeah,
right in his
teabag.
face.
Right, okay. his coin purse, yes. Now, this happened at Disney.
No, this happened in the real New Orleans during Mardi Gras.
Well, I just wanted it to happen at Disney.
Now, that would be funny.
Oh, man.
That would be funny.
In fact, they have showings every day at 2, 4, 6, and 8 o'clock for the infamous teabagging. They always have it there. It's, what Gaston is always teabagging one of the...
LeFou?
Yeah.
Gaston is teabagging LeFou.
That's right. Every 2 hours.
Extra here. Come see Gaston teabag LeFou right here in the square.
In New Orleans.
Actually, I went a little British there. Sorry.
I know. It's okay.
Point being, it's funny.
It's,
Go see it. Pay for it.
That's right.
Bring money.
And if you don't have money...
People actually throw dollars at it when this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately in time, Disney's going to sponsor our show, and we'll start giving away Disney tickets to ourselves. We're supposed to give them out to listeners, but we're just going to keep them.
That's right.
Yeah.
When Disneyland first opened, it's a very famous situation in California now. Yeah. This is the original one.
Yeah.
That the first day was a complete disaster.
I watched the whole thing on this.
Yes.
It's essentially like they didn't even have things finished painted.
Didn't have them finished painting. The cement was still wet. You can actually still see, they've left some of them, where ladies' high heels sank into the cement because it was very hot that day and the cement hadn't set all the way.
Wow.
But so there was the crowds were too big.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough water. They didn't have enough food.
It was like worst case.
Part of the reason that the crowds were too big was some guy got very smart and printed a lot of, counterfeit tickets and sold them.
Really?
Yeah. They said it was something like, 40-50% of the tickets that day were counterfeit. And that's why they had so many issues.
Wow. Oh, my God.
They weren't planning for that many people to be there.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. How
God,
funny is that?
Why didn't we do something
I know.
like that?
Can you imagine? Let's go back to 1955.
I'm telling you, our country is so great. Where you can really make a business out of anything.
You can make America great again just by counterfeiting tickets to Disneyland.
That's right. Gosh. Man, you go to Disney like every other week.
Well, we're annual pass holders.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm not an annual pass holder, but that's between you and Disney, okay?
No, but we can go. Actually, I can go any day of the year. This year.
That seems like a lot of money, and if you only go like once or twice, is it really worth the pass?
It is worth the pass if you're going to go at least twice.
Okay.
If you're going to the park 2 times in a year, it's worth it.
Okay.
Because after the second time, the pass has more than paid for itself, and then you can go for free the rest of the year.
Right.
So, a long weekend or something, and we normally go for my birthday.
Yep.
And then every other year we go with my wife's family. So this is that year for them. They're going to come with us. So this year specifically, we're probably going to... Now, once you've bought it once, you get like 15 or 20% off the next year when you redo it.
Oh, okay.
So now it's just kind of like...
Yeah, well, it just makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
For me, it's pretty cool.
Now, does that 20% keep racking up every year?
No, it's just a 20% discount. Yeah.
Lame.
But it's still worth it.
Yeah.
For example, Star Wars Land.
Coming in 2019, of course.
That's right. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Batuu. How cool is it? And there is a Star Wars novel coming out now where they're going to... The Emperor is going to be sending Darth Vader to Batuu to handle the rebels. So they are bringing this land into Star Wars canon.
But they're bringing it into the past a little bit.
Well, yeah, but there very well could be a movie that Star Wars puts out that includes this land.
Interesting.
So it's on the outskirts of the universe, and it's kind of like in the original movie, the first one, where they go to Tatooine and it's a bunch of scum and rebels and that kind of thing. That's what this land is like.
Okay,
it's supposed to be a planet where it's sort of a lot of under table activities happening.
Makes you wonder why they didn't just make it Tatooine or
Well, but they could have, but now the possibilities are endless because it hasn't been represented before.
Yeah.
And so they can really,
I guess,
in whatever platform they want, they can bring it in. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Did you ever ride the Star Wars ride in Disney? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, of course. Star Tours.
Yep, Star Tours, that's right. And they, I remember they had updated it for the new prequels, 2000.
I've seen Maz.
Yeah.
One of the recent ones did. Maz was in it.
Really?
BB-8 was in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they've updated it for that? Oh, I did not know that.
You can go to Jakku.
Really?
Yeah. So we've done all that.
Okay, I didn't know that stuff.
Every time you ride it, it's different.
Yeah.
It's like the Tower of Terror, where the program constantly changes.
Oh, okay.
So they have, when you ride it, you have at the beginning a projection shows up and it's Darth Vader or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That changes, and then the planet that you go to changes, and then the last projection changes. So it's always a mix of those 3 different elements.
Okay.
And it totally changes your experience.
That's cool.
So the Millennium Falcon ride is going to be like that combined with Mission Space, where you're going to sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
Everyone in there is going to have a job, so you're going to be able to touch buttons and a joystick and everything. It's going to be like you're driving it. And then the Star Wars movie, or the Star Tours movie's happening, where you have projections and you go to a planet and all of that. I can't wait. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I did read that they're going to have 8 graphics cards, NVIDIA graphics cards, running that ride to look as good as it will.
I have to say, there's a drone flight. You can go look out on YouTube of the construction.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about it, they're also building a Star Wars... We have to go. We have to go.
I'm going.
So there's a Star Wars hotel.
Yeah.
And you go, and I don't know what the time period's going to be, but there's going to be... If you stay for, for example, 3 days or 5 days, they're going to assign... You're going to get a story when you check in.
Yeah.
And then you go up the elevator to the second level, and when you walk out, you are immersed in a story where you're a character...
Yeah.
you're going to be given missions.
Yeah.
You're going to go have to meet characters who are cast members. You're going to be interacting with people in the world, scavenger hunt kind of thing, riding different rides for specific reasons. It's going to be a whole immersive storyline that you're following for that 5 or 3 day period.
Crazy.
It's going to be incredible.
It better be good.
You're encouraged to wear
Star Wars stuff?
Star Wars attire.
All right. Well, good. Well, if I go back to the original Star Wars, I can wear really cheap crap from Goodwill. I'll be fine.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's unbelievable. Disney, I mean, just talking about entertainment news, I mean, we have grown up in a Disney world.
Yeah.
Where, not the theme park, but just where they had a revival in the 90s.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid was 89,
Yeah.
but then Aladdin.
That started it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we're witnessing, because when Walt Disney was alive, they had a lot of financial problems.
Oh, big time. I mean, if you go look back at some of the movies, a lot of the artists were like recycling cartoon movements. I
like
couldn't
Jungle
believe-
Book.
Yeah, Jungle Book. It was also the Robin Hood.
Yeah. It's the same animation.
It's exactly the same. I couldn't believe it.
And then they did the same thing for Tailspin when the show came out.
Yeah, it's just like, wow. And it was, because, I mean, the original movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, did amazing, and then Pinocchio came out and it didn't do quite as amazing, because...
Although Pinocchio is probably, in retrospect, the best movie.
Oh, it was a great movie.
But you're right.
Yeah,
and
people had seen it.
And Fantasia.
Yeah.
Now it's incredible. Everyone, but they hated it
back then. They're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Even me as a kid, I didn't really understand it.
So it's hard to separate in my opinion, it's hard for our generation to separate ourselves from a world where Disney is big.
Yeah.
But you really have to appreciate what they've done with Bob Iger.
Oh, big
I mean,
time.
Michael Eisner saved the company.
Yeah, but then he started to run it into the ground.
Exactly. And then Bob Iger bought Pixar.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Bob Iger is the reason why they are doing what they're doing. I mean, he put the right people in place, and he wasn't stupid.
That's right.
He was like, why are we going to get rid of Pixar? Pixar is the biggest reason why we're doing well right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a good relationship with Steve Jobs and got that going.
You can argue that they would not have Frozen
Yeah.
if it was not for the Pixar acquisition.
Right.
Because they didn't want to go to digital animation.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I love hand-drawn animation.
Me too, of course.
But
it's the future.
It's the future.
It is.
And like I said, that could have killed the company.
Could've.
Frozen saved it.
Big time.
So I think it's incredible. I'm excited to see it. It'll be a reason to go back to Disney for sure.
Well, very good. Well, and being on the topic of Star Wars, because we didn't get to talk about this last week, but the Star Wars Last Jedi came out on Blu-ray.
That's right.
So I have my feelings. I want to hear your feelings on Star Wars on that movie.
I just bought it on iTunes, by the way.
Nice.
It came out on iTunes. I bought it the day it came out.
Yep. 13th.
I'm big in. By the way, I'm big into buying things on iTunes.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm in. Like
Yeah.
I've stopped buying Blu-rays.
Yep, me too.
I'm just all in.
Is that bad?
No.
Because I understand the 4K and the Blu-ray. I don't have a 4K TV though.
But it's HD anyways.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing. And it's not only that, it's that you have access to it on all of your devices immediately. With a Blu-ray, I'm tied to my PlayStation. That's it.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever my Blu-ray player is. If you have an Xbox or a Blu-ray player.
Yep.
You're kind of tied to that. Where digitally, it's like, listen, I'm an Apple guy. You're an Apple guy.
Yep.
I have an iPhone. I have an iPad. I have a Mac. I could get it on all these things and an Apple TV. So why wouldn't I just buy it on that? And a lot of times, I have alerts. I have an app that tells me discounts when they're coming up, so I can buy movies. I got Office Space for $7.99 the other day.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, but I get all these cool movies for usually between $5 and $8, and I just wait until they go that low. Unless it's Star Wars, which I got for $19.99.
Yeah, me too. But that's so cool.
Yeah.
And Apple TV now, I mean, that's the one thing with PlayStation. I don't have the iTunes on it.
Yeah.
But I do have Netflix.
Yeah.
But who cares? I can hook up my Apple TV to the exact same television.
Right.
Have both platforms.
Right.
So for me, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
I'm big into buying it. So I bought Last Jedi when it came out. I love it.
Okay.
I did love it.
Yeah.
I thought it's difficult for me.
Yeah.
Because when I think back to the last one, I'm blanking on the name of the
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic.
We left because you and I saw it in theaters together.
Yes.
And I remember leaving so excited, like, yes, they did it. They got it back. They got the magic.
Yes.
And I was so excited. And you and I did not see Last Jedi together.
No.
And we actually saw it a showing apart because you got your tickets a few days after me.
I was very upset about that.
I know, me too.
Yep.
But I remember leaving the theater so divided. I was really divided the first time I saw it.
But
yeah,
when I think back to Force Awakens, now it's a fantastic film.
Right.
But
it was a total recycle.
It was a recycle?
Yeah.
There were a lot of elements of it that I wish they had done differently.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But like Han Solo dying.
Yeah. I feel like they did that more because Harrison Ford wanted him to die.
That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he wanted to kill him a long time ago.
I get it, but I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
In that scene, I said to myself, he's going to kill him. He's dead. And okay, I can get past that.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But like her coming from Jakku, it's like Tatooine.
Yeah, there was a lot of and Jakku is pretty much Tatooine. It's a desert planet.
It's basically the same. And then Mark Hamill simply not having a role in it bothered me.
Yeah.
So there are things that I wish they would have done differently in Force Awakens, but it still visually is incredible.
Yeah.
When you look, especially comparing it to that garbage that Lucas came out with episodes 1, 2, and 3, complete garbage. Visually,
I mean, they relied very heavily on CGI,
and it did not age well.
It hasn't aged well.
No.
I will agree to that, but there's still I remember the audience he made it for. We were that audience back then, and when I saw episode 1 in theaters for the first time, it was the day 3 had been out. I went and saw it, and I remember being so dazzled. I saw it 2 more times in the theaters. I loved Phantom Menace as a kid, and same for Attack of the Clones as a kid because it was the first time we saw Yoda fight. Yep. And then Revenge of the Sith blew my freaking mind.
Now that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then you get to the scene where he's killing all the kids.
Yeah.
It looks fake. He's a terrible actor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Hayden Christensen was terrible.
He's terrible. But the visuals of that were pretty good.
Yeah.
This blew it away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. These movies were because they used way more practical effects.
And I think back to the scene. Let's jump to another movie with I'm so sorry. What's the other one?
Rogue One.
Rogue One, where they're taking the power from the crystal mine.
Yeah.
And there's the, Star Destroyer above that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that looked amazing.
Oh yeah.
And in Last Jedi, where they're light speeding in above the planet.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh,
I'm like, wow, that looks amazing.
Yeah. I mean, visually, Last Jedi was great.
Yeah.
And again, I say the first time I saw the movie, I was very divided. Because there was just the side quest that happened in the middle of it.
That was worth nothing.
It really was. And I mean, the director's like, well, you got to, show that sometimes you do something for nothing. And I'm like, listen, time is very valuable to all of us. And that 30 minutes I could have gotten back. You just had nothing to do with that character.
Because they marketed it as the longest Star Wars film, which it was.
It was, and it didn't need to be.
But it was just kind of like, why did you just go all that way?
Yeah.
And for nothing.
It quite literally felt like he took a path back to the prequels. Because that's what that whole section felt like. The animals, the casino... It all felt like the prequels.
That casino was bizarre. I have to say, that was bizarre.
It really was. So, second time I saw the movie, I liked it a lot better.
Yes.
Because I knew what was coming. But I think what disappointed me the most, and I watched a couple people talking about this, and they described it perfectly. And they said, well, The Force Awakens set up all these questions. And this movie pretty much just didn't answer any of them. Not like 1 or 2, but just said F the answer to all those questions. It's not important. And it's like, well, yeah, but you made it important by the end of the last movie.
Yes.
I want to know answers. And I'm really hoping JJ is going to come back in the next movie and answer those questions for us. But it's hard to say. I mean, Rian Johnson, that's the only problem, is that Rian Johnson looked at the story treatment for the trilogy, and he said, yeah, I'm going to go my own way. And that's the problem when you have 3 different, or 2 different directors, doing different stories, because at first it was going to be 3. Colin Trevorrow, or whatever his name,
right?
From Jurassic World.
Trevorrow.
Yeah. So he had his own stream, and I found out, I read a little bit more lately about why he really left. It was because he really hated that they killed Luke in the second movie. He was like, no, I need to keep him alive for Leia. I got this thing planned for the third movie, and you're killing him. And they didn't like any of that, and he got fired.
And I liken it to, because I think, in my opinion, the biggest rival to Disney in general, which now encompasses Star Wars, is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And that new franchise, Fantastic Beasts, is incredible. I love it.
I've not seen it.
Oh, you have to see it. You must see it. It's so good.
Yeah.
The next one's coming out.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great. I'm a little wary about Jude Law being Dumbledore, but point being, she continues to, J.K. Rowling, to answer questions.
Yeah.
Because the few questions that came out of Harry Potter, it ties together really well.
Really well.
But the few questions that came out, she also's got Pottermore now.
Yeah.
She continues to answer with these new movies, and I love it.
She is very good about continuity and hanging on to that. Yeah.
So I do agree that that's the problem right now with Star Wars, is Disney's going to have to get it together.
Yeah.
They're going to have to say, okay, here's what's open-ended.
Yeah.
And I hope that the reason they're doing that is to leave the door open for more spinoffs.
Yeah, I agree. Now, what do you think about Leia? There was this one scene, and I think you know what I'm about to say. Superhero scene.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
When that was when the movie lost me in the theater. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, no, this is the Star Wars movie I want.
We knew she had the Force in her.
Yeah, but I mean,
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big comic book fan. You know that.
Oh, of course.
I have read a lot of comics.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that Disney has done right with this. They have really let the Marvel Comics team just go hog wild.
Yeah.
And there is a comic book that bridges the gap between Force Awakens and Episode 9.
Yeah.
No, 6. Sorry, Episode 6.
Oh.
And it brings in Leia using the Force. So that's pretty interesting. And there's a lot of these comics. For example, like Darth Maul. We talk about why we liked Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
There are reasons why I liked it, because it brought a lot of good characters in, like Darth Maul.
Man, he was awesome.
But he didn't get his rightful due.
No.
The comics give him that.
Yeah.
Darth Vader has a sequence in the comics that is unbelievable.
Yeah, I've seen his newest comics. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff.
Really good.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it till after I watched Force Awakens, but I did read it. I did see it. I was expecting something like that. I wasn't expecting it in the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
Frankly, her eyes should have been popping out of her head.
Yeah.
So...
like they're talking about the 9th movie now, and they're trying to figure out what to do with her. And like in the book, in the novelization of The Last Jedi, they do make a little mention that Leia has been very wounded by the fact that she was out in space.
Yeah.
So they're trying to set up a death, maybe. But I also read a rumor that Meryl Streep might be replacing her in Episode 9, and the reason why is because she's replaced Carrie in another movie back in the 80s, and they said that she gets her very well and can pull that off. Now again, that's not for sure, and that article came out a few days before April Fool's, so I'm a little bit more like, okay, well, this could be true, or maybe they're just testing the waters with it to see what people think and be like, okay, nope, we're not doing it, kill her.
I hope that's not true.
Why? I'm just curious.
Number one, I don't think she looks like her.
Yeah, true.
And that would bother me.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Yeah. Star Wars is all about continuity.
Yeah.
With characters, if they're not there, they're not there. But why would you bring back the guy who plays Chewie if that didn't matter? You know?
Yeah, I do understand that it's going to be difficult dealing with her not being there.
Yeah.
That's going to be difficult.
It's going to suck. Well, it's going to suck for whatever story. It hinders the story that we were supposed to get.
But here's the question.
Yeah.
How much better would the third Batman have been? I loved the third Chris Nolan Batman.
Yeah.
But how much better would it have been if he had been able to bring back Heath Ledger as the Joker?
Yeah.
And compare that with if they had stuck Jared Leto, which I thought, I didn't care that much for Suicide Squad. It was okay.
Yeah.
But Jared Leto, he was fine. It was decent.
It was fine. What
if he had been a replacement for Heath Ledger?
Yeah, it would have been jarring.
Awful.
Well, it's kind of, if you go to Batman, I mean, you think Batman Begins to The Dark Knight, you had Katie Holmes in the first one, and then she was replaced by Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight. And it was like, they were they portrayed the character very differently.
Yep.
So it was like two different people. Katie Holmes was a little tougher, and Maggie Gyllenhaal was a little bit more sassy. That's
funny word. Katie Holmes was awful.
I know. But I mean tougher as in she punched him in the face a few times, and she wasn't great. But then in the second movie, Maggie Gyllenhaal's very sassy, very try to be nice, and just kind of these little one-liners that Katie Holmes did not have in her movie.
Katie Holmes, man, I go back and watch. Again, Batman Begins, I thought was great.
Oh, it's wonderful.
But Maggie Gyllenhaal was one of the reasons why the second one was just so much better. Yeah. I mean, it is basically, I put it up against Godfather Part 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a fantastic mob crime film.
Dark Knight.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it did amazing. Yeah.
If Katie Holmes had been in it, forget about it. So, I mean, that's where you don't know where to draw the line, because would Meryl Streep be a good replacement? Yeah. I know Jared Leto would have been a terrible replacement. Yeah. Maggie Gyllenhaal was a great replacement. Yeah. But Carrie Fisher is not a bad actress.
No, I will say Carrie Fisher is also not the actress she was 30 years ago either, so she might as well have been a different person in these movies, because she was so, in Force Awakens, she was very stiff.
Yeah.
And in this one, she was still pretty stiff.
Well, it's been a long time for her. I remember the episode she was on 30 Rock. She was playing a character that Tina Fey was really looked up to or whatever. I don't remember. I think she was a writer.
Yeah.
And Tina Fey was like, I can't wait to meet her. And then she ended up being basically herself, a druggy washout actress or writer. And she looked rough.
Yeah.
I mean, in 30 Rock, this was a couple of years ago. Yeah. She looked really rough.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And so when they said they were bringing her back to Star Wars, I was like, I thought back to that episode, and I thought, God, she's going to look rough. They did help her.
Yeah.
I don't know what she did.
Yeah.
She looked a little better.
Well, she worked out. they got her a personal trainer.
And that might have been it, because in 30 Rock also, she was also overweight.
Yeah.
So maybe that was all it was.
Yeah.
But
same with Luke. Or Mark Hamill, he was big.
Yeah.
And he lost 50 pounds for the movie.
Yep. He came out. Did you ever watch? You said you hadn't kept up much with Marvel, but have you seen any of Arrow or The Flash on CW?
No.
These are also fantastic shows.
Oh, I've heard.
You got to go binge them. They're so good.
I know. You tell me that.
They're worth. I mean, Arrow got bad after about season 4.
Okay.
But up through season 4, incredible. Yeah. You'll love it.
Yeah.
The Flash has been good the whole time. Anyway, Mark Hamill came out as the I think it was the Trickster.
Yeah.
Which is actually a bad guy in the Flash.
Yeah.
But he's literally the Joker from the animated series of Batman.
Yeah. I think I saw a video of it.
It's great. It's a great episode. I wish he had just been the Joker.
Yeah.
But he same voice and everything.
Yeah.
So we were going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And we got some commercials here.
Yeah.
When we come back, I want to play this video. Mark Hamill, Rian Johnson on Star Wars haters and critics in the age of social media.
Sounds good.
I think it's a great video.
Absolutely.
And ties into what we're talking about here, and we'll continue to to pull it out.
We'll
be right back to the Echo Radio Show.
Are you a woman trapped in a man's body?
Yeah.
And you don't have any money for surgery?
Yeah.
Now save thousands of dollars and years of emotional distress with Snake Away. You'll go from sounding like this.
I wish I could wear that dress and look good.
To,
wow, I look amazing and feel great.
Now sold at stores. Don't be trapped. Clap, clap with Snake Away, the full solution for the man-to-woman transformation.
They're a serious sponsor.
Snake Away.
It reminds me of Chipotle Away. Now, I think we can give away the the identity of this
Yeah.
person.
Hey.
But I have to tell you something.
Yes.
I actually thought you were using some kind of a
voice
vocal
changer?
thing or something.
I wish I would never have to use anybody again. I just do it myself. No,
No, but that's your sister.
it's my sister.
So are we going to hear her voice again? Because I'm telling you something.
I'm hoping.
That is hilarious.
So my sister doesn't have like a recording studio or anything like that. But I'm hoping we can set her up with something because she does not live here with us. In Charleston, she's from in the Delaware area. So yeah, I wrote it. I wrote the commercials this morning. This one, and I was just like, hey, I want you to do this. She came in mopey. She's like, okay, what am I saying? And I was like, all right, just say this. And she's like, oh, hi, wow, blah, blah, blah. And then went back to being mopey and went downstairs.
How old is she?
She's 15.
Yeah, okay. So that's that teenage angst
Yeah.
time period.
Talk
about feeling old.
God, man, I know.
I remember those days.
It's me 16 years ago. God, I know, and I know exactly how she feels. I mean, I don't have, I'm not a girl. I wasn't a girl back then. I don't know what that stuff feels like, but I just remember being really depressed. And
Now, does she listen to the show? Is she going to hear this?
I don't know. I told her I wasn't going to out her. I'm not going to name her, but
Well, you need to get her on that.
oh, I'm going to. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
I need
Tell her
her.
to listen to the show.
Yeah.
Now, before the break, we had the snake away.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got some right here. We're going to test that out tonight.
Oh, good. I can't wait. Finally.
No, not really. But I've got, we were talking about The Last Jedi.
Yes.
I kind of want to wrap that up, though, what our thoughts were on it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm a little I guess just my nostalgia makes me sad that all of my childhood heroes are being killed off.
Yeah.
First Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, literally, but obviously also
on a plane, no
potentially.
doubt.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and I do not want to see. I thought that her likeness in Rogue One was neat.
It was. I don't think it's not where it needs to be a permanent solution.
Exactly.
And same with General Grantoff.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it fit because they needed that.
They had to have it.
They had to have it.
Because you were used to what that guy looked like.
Yeah.
But it was still, I could still tell it was off.
Yeah, it's very Polar Express.
Yeah.
But I was okay with it because for Leia especially, 5 seconds or whatever, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I do not want to see that for this entire film.
No, and they're not going to do that.
And they better not.
They already they 100% said we're not doing that.
Yeah,
that's
so,
why they were like, well, we could either kill her or we could replace her.
Yeah, I'd rather them kill her. To be honest, I don't know how
kill her.
Honestly, I don't know how they're going to work that in.
I know
because she obviously wasn't dead at the end of the last one.
Yeah,
but
they could take a little break because these past two Star Wars movies were the first Star Wars movie with no in between.
Yep.
Like it would just pick right up. Where like, all right, Kylo just got his face effed up, and then he's back at it, and all that. They could take a minute.
But I will say, and again, I'm going to kind of compare it to Harry Potter a little bit because of that's the main rival.
No.
I do like that they're using these different directors.
Yeah.
Every Harry Potter film, even though I don't think those films were this good, they got progressively better because you had different directors coming in with different ideas.
Well. So you'd be surprised to know that David Yost really directed the back half of all those movies.
Well, yes, but you saw the artistic nature of it change.
Yeah, like so from the first one where you had Christopher Columbus, he did the first and second one.
Yeah,
and he the first one was great because he pretty much laid the path. For the rest of the movies. Second movie got a little full of himself, but then number 3 redeemed, and they had a different director at that point. Then they were able to kind of bring out the better performances of the actors, but with all the genius that Chris Columbus brought with the production design and all that.
And for example, in movie 3, you can really tell a difference with just shots and camera work, and there's a lot of handheld camera, a lot of motion.
Yeah.
It's just a more artistic film.
Yeah.
So I thought the same thing about Last Jedi. I thought it really stepped up its game in terms of artistry.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't a rehash.
No, not at all.
But take the scene with the fight with Snoke.
Yeah.
You have that red background.
Yeah, I know. It was intimidating.
And it was just like, wow, like that's I I felt like I was in the 70s watching this.
Yeah.
It fit, like that scene especially, because it relied so heavily on just lighting and set design.
Yeah.
There was no CG there, except Snoke.
Yeah.
But, you had the actual characters on a big sound stage with massive amounts of lighting. It looked great.
Yeah.
And that was like, wow, this feels like an authentic thing. And the whole movie, I mean, I just felt like it was more artistic.
Yeah.
Like you said, that side story was a waste of my time.
It really was. I mean, I didn't mind the characters that we met. The one guy.
Yeah, that guy. The traitor.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just in it for the money.
His name was DJ, but I liked the character. I didn't mind it, but I was just to get to him. I'm like, no, we didn't really need it.
We didn't need him.
And Phasma just became a big waste of time.
And Finn, I like Finn. I think he's being underutilized.
Yeah, I think they had no idea what to do with him.
Where's Ray? Where's Ray?
Yeah.
Where's Ray?
It's like, dude, just relax.
Yeah, just relax. Why don't you go fight him?
Just go run away.
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
Jerk.
So that was my problem. But aside from that, and okay, the Superman, scene.
What about Rose?
I think that adds a lot of heart. To it. My problem is he in love with her?
Yeah.
Is he in love with Ray?
I have no idea. I didn't even know that was supposed to be a triangle.
Yeah, and I don't know that he is in love with Ray as much as maybe he feels responsible for. I don't get that.
Right.
That's a little up in the air for me.
Yeah. In Rose, like I was watching the making of the movie, and Ryan Johnson said I picked Rose because she was the kind of girl I would have hung out with in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I probably would have hung out with her too. But I just think, I don't know. There was something about her, like, before I saw the movie opening night, everybody was talking her up. Like, oh, my God, Rose is the best character in the whole movie. And then I just feel like I keep buying into these emotional responses from people. And then I go in and I'm just like, God dang it. She wasn't that great. You did that to me with Rogue One. You're like, dude, that's the best Star Wars movie ever.
I do think that.
And I went in there and I was expecting the most amazing thing in the world. It was a good movie. I left liking it, but I think I liked it less than I would have if you would have been like, yeah, it's a good Star Wars movie. My expectations would have been, all right. I was expecting Titanic. I was expecting, Jack and don't let go. And I come out of there and I'm like,
But for me, Rogue One was what Force Awakens wasn't.
Yeah.
The parts of Force Awakens I was missing, I got with Rogue One.
Yeah.
It was real military.
Yeah. I loved. A lot of great
brand
parts.
New characters, totally original.
A lot of great parts. You oversold it.
Now, Last Jedi at the end did become a bit of a rehash of Empire Strikes Back because of the, it wasn't ice, but it was whatever that ground was where they drove
salt.
over it, the salt thing. I did notice that another thematic element, though. It was the red. I mean, it was pink, but it was a red coming up out while they were fighting the Empire. I liked that.
Yeah, and you never saw Luke's foot. Like, when his foot grazed the ground, it never turned red.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I didn't notice that until the
I like that
second
he's
scene.
a Force ghost.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
he will be back. So, I do want to play this interview, though.
Okay.
We'll just talk about our thoughts on this after we take a listen here to Ryan Johnson and Mark Hamill.
Disney, this famously tightly run studio, just give you the reins to the biggest brand in movie history.
It was scary in exactly the way you would think it would be scary, saying that sentence, because my producer Ram and I came into it and we're very used to working within in the indie world and having total control. But the truth is, I mean, Disney and Lucasfilm, they were good collaborators, but they let us do our thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8.
Now, the picture did receive some criticism online, social media, even in the Star Wars community a little bit.
That.
Criticism online? It's unheard
Like
of.
something that happens ever.
Looking back, was there any of the criticism that you read that you may feel is now kind of fair?
No. But
We're happy to ruin people's childhood.
The thing is, though, especially with a Star Wars movie, having grown up as a Star Wars
That's pretty
fan,
good.
every single Star Wars thing that comes out every fan has stuff they love, stuff they hate about it. Every movie has its lovers and its haters. Everybody's got, every single one, going back to the originals.
We were so lucky there wasn't social media when Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my God,
came
Empire
out.
would have gone roasted. If you look at the criticisms of Last Jedi, can you imagine what they would have said about Luke just getting his ass handed to him by Vader? And like, oh my God, they would have...
hand getting cut off, and
They
the
would have gotten
boss,
freaked out.
Dad Vader, I mean...
Han gets turned into a coffee table.
But it's a good point.
Han Solo that goes down without a fight
In
and
those
just gets,
cases, you really have to
forget it.
take a lot of effort and sit down and say, "Dear Mr. Hamill, why did you turn Harrison Ford into a coffee table? This is not right." That kind of thing. Now it's wallop and send, and it's easy. So pure hatred can be delivered directly to your home in a nanosecond.
But that's also the flip. I mean, it's the other side of the coin of what's great about Star Wars fans, and you got it. And both of them go into exactly the same thing, which is everyone is so passionate about it.
They have such an investment in it.
Yeah,
they feel they have a sense of ownership, and I totally get that. I feel the same way, and things don't always go the way I like them either.
That's pretty good.
Star Wars has been around for 40 years. It's touched people like myself. What is at the heart of Star Wars that really moves people and to invest in it, as you said, as much? What is really at the heart of Star Wars?
Thinking back to when I was a little kid, what got me? It's a combination of that mythic hero's journey, which is all really about going from childhood through adolescence into adulthood. It's just something that all kids can relate to. Jumping into a big, scary world, finding your place in it, these new powers that are forming in you, finding out how you're going to use them, these scary figures in your life that are adults that you're trying to navigate what you're going to get from who of them. It's that combined with a spirit of fun and adventure that makes
classic
it all seem...
escapism.
Yeah.
People want to get away from their dreary, humdrum lives. So whether it's Oz or Middle Earth or Hogwarts, a galaxy far, far away, it's just a great way to be swept away into a place that's more fun than where we are right now.
Yeah, modern mythology.
Yeah. Well, I remember reading something or seeing a video once that one of the head guys at DC, he wanted to teach a class about comic books at a college, and the president's like, no, it's not going to happen. And he's like, I want a meeting with the president. So the president pulls him into the college, and he's like, all right, before you even start talking, I know all about Superman and all that, and I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not going to teach this class. And he's like, well, sir, tell me about Superman. He's like, well, I know he was born on Krypton, and he came to America after to the world, the Earth, when his parents sent him away and his planet was destroyed. And then he stopped, and he's like, okay, you can have your class. Because it's like, it's mythology. I mean, that's essentially it. Like, we've built our lives around these things. Why are those comics any different than, the stories that the Greek and whoever made up, hundreds or thousands of years ago?
Yeah. And I wonder, he was mentioning that he loves ruining people's childhood. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But it's a good point that in the original episodes, I just wonder... what that would have been like in an age of Rotten Tomatoes.
Dude, Empire Strikes Back didn't make as much money as the original Star Wars.
Even though it's heralded, and I agree, as being the best sequel ever.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it was definitely divisive. I mean, because it wasn't like all summed up in one movie.
Yeah. Although I think there's an argument that Two Towers is...
Two Towers is good.
Let's put it in perspective here. Lord of the Rings: Two Towers is fantastic. I love Fellowship, but
it was way better than Fellowship.
Yeah, way better.
But that being said, if you ever gone back and watched those movies in the last few years, they are dated. There's a lot of effects and like the backgrounds where clearly the characters are standing on a soundstage.
Yeah, I do like The Hobbit because of that. I like The Hobbit a little bit better now.
I hated The Hobbit.
You didn't like it?
I saw the trilogy. I was like, this sucks.
I
wanted to like it. I think what made me most mad was The Hobbit wasn't really in it at all. He was like, hi, I'm a Hobbit. And then he would like show up every once in a while. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? I'm going to save your guys' butts again. And everybody just hates him. And I'm like, I read the book, and I'm like, I remember the Hobbit being really prominent in the book, and he's not prominent at all in
I
this.
actually watched Desolation of Smog for a few minutes today.
Oh, I mean, the dragon's fine.
He looks
Smog.
good, though. He
Yeah.
does look good.
Looks great. I mean, the effects wasn't the problem. It was the story and the execution. I was just like, Peter Jackson doesn't have it anymore.
And now I did like it. I didn't like it as good as Lord
of the Rings way better.
But I did enjoy it. But
yeah,
talking about Peter Jackson not having it, King Kong, awful.
Yeah, King
Just
Kong. It was
awful.
a half-baked piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Like that middle part in that movie where all the dinosaurs are running and they're stampeding. It's so clear that they're like running in front of green screens, and the cuts are terrible. Like it was rushed.
And now The Rock is doing Rampage.
I know. I don't want to see that. But have you seen Jumanji?
No.
It was really funny.
Really?
Okay,
so it's worth watching?
I'm a jaded guy. You know this, right?
Yeah.
I was like, nope, there's no way they can replace the original. No way. Don't care. Got a free rental with T-Mobile Tuesdays. So I rented it and I went into it, and I mean, it took a few minutes. Once it gets going, though, I was like, this is funny. They
Really?
had a lot of
Okay.
campy, funny jokes, but them as a group, they were funny.
Even Jack Black.
Oh, he was hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to watch it.
Because he's essentially a girl is him. He's playing a girl.
Yeah.
Because the girl gets his character because his name's Shelley, Dr. Shelley, and she's like, oh, she picks him, and there's a lot of jokes like, God, this thing's crazy, because it's the first time she has a a male genitalia.
Oh, that's funny.
It was really funny movie. Very well done, and they had a really cool wink to the original with Robin Williams, and I'm really actually looking forward to a sequel.
Well, okay, I'll give it a chance.
You should.
I will.
I was surprised. I went in there wanting to hate it. I really wanted to hate it.
It's like, because we are in the era of remakes.
Yeah.
You've got the remake of Star Wars, which this was always planned.
Yeah.
So we can't call it a remake.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you have the remake of Jumanji. You have the remake of Ghostbusters. And recently, remake of Roseanne, which was a huge hit.
I want to see it because I loved the show as a kid.
I'm telling you, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's better. It's better. I don't know how they did it. Well, I do know how they did it, because Roseanne back in the day, for me, my parents, it's like Married with Children. Yeah. And I talked about this on my show. It had, on Saturday, it had kind of this aura around it of being mature, like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Parents didn't want you to watch it.
Right.
But when I look back on that, I think to myself, I think it was because it was actually a real view of modern. It's what the families really are like.
It really was.
You can't live in a rose-colored glasses world, and that's what Roseanne is.
Yeah. It's not
they've updated it now to being, she's a Trump supporter. She is in real life. She's a Trump supporter. Yeah. And now it's updated to be accurate for that, where her, I guess it's her sister.
Yeah.
Is not.
Yeah.
She comes in with that nasty woman like Madonna, shirt on, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved every second of it.
Becky. Yeah.
Becky. I thought it was way better because I've gone back and watched some of the originals recently since it came out, because I was like, let me go check.
It's on Amazon. Yep. Amazon
and
Prime.
Netflix has it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, is it? No, you're right.
Amazon
No, it's
Prime.
Amazon. It's Amazon.
Which we'll start putting those links on our website. Have you guys sign up to our links?
That's right.
We get some kickbacks.
That's right.
Do it.
So do that. I went back and they're funny. This one was funnier.
Really?
Yeah. 18.1 million viewers and it's an hour long, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So that 18.1 million viewers could have been a lot less if the first 30 minutes had sucked.
Yeah.
So that should tell you something. It didn't.
Well,
it was funny.
What's really good news is that it did so well that they renewed it for another season with 13 episodes instead of the original 10 from this season.
And because of it, now I think it's interesting because Last Man Standing, have you ever watched it?
I haven't. I saw the other day I was curious, so it played me some clips on YouTube from the show, and a lot of conservative stuff. Now again, I'm not conservative. I'm not Democrat, I'm not super liberal. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Funny though, like me, I can see jest in any side of it. I'm not offended.
Well, let me tell you, I love Home Improvement.
Yeah,
I like this better.
Yeah,
I didn't think I would. Yeah. I remember when it came out, I watched the first episode and I was like, it's Home Improvement with girls.
Yeah,
I've gone back while we were in Germany.
Yeah,
and we watched through the whole series. Hysterical.
Really?
I mean, absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I think the acting is just as good as Home Improvement.
Huh.
The storyline is, again, it's just updated.
Yeah.
Just relevant to today,
Yeah.
but the comedy's the same. Love it. Well, it's ABC. They canceled it, and the whole conspiracy behind that, and I think it's probably halfway true, was that because it was conservative, ABC canceled it.
Yeah.
Well, Roseanne, though, is ABC.
Yeah.
So, to me, that was strange. It's done so well now, because Last Man Standing was just canceled, and they were well in their prime.
Yeah.
It was not time to cancel.
Yeah.
Now, Fox owned the show,
Right.
but ABC put it out.
Yeah.
Now, Fox is talking about bringing it back because Roseanne did so well.
Yeah, they should.
So, just think it's interesting the way these remakes are working.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it was interesting because I was reading, John Goodman. I was watching a TMZ where, he gets off a plane and he's walking and the camera guy's just running up to, "Hey, John, did you hear about your wonderful ratings? And the show did great." And he's like, "No, I didn't hear that." He's just trying to get away from the guy. And he's like, "Yeah, how does it feel to be a part of it?" And you can tell he's just annoyed as crap. And he's like, "Oh, I mean, that's great. I mean, it's awesome." But I was reading that, back, you might not have realized it, but back then in the original Roseanne's, he was drinking a lot.
Really?
Like, he was drinking so much even on the show.
Wow.
Especially the last few seasons. And Roseanne was really worried about him because her original husband, Tom Arnold, was a big drug substance user, before they got divorced. And so that really worried her. But yeah, he drank until 2007. And then something happened where he got really sick. And he's like, "I'm done." And he checked himself into a clinic.
Yep.
And he's been sober ever since. He's like, "I just like the way I feel better."
Wow.
Or now. I feel better now.
He really has made a turnaround.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot of weight.
Oh, a ton of weight, yeah.
A lot of weight. And he's done some pretty big movies.
Yeah.
The Monument Men, I never saw that one, but it had great ratings. I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I like him. I like John Goodman.
me
I think
too.
he's hilarious.
Some of the best Disney voice.
Yeah, right? I mean, Sully from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor's New Groove, which is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best Disney movies ever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Hands
just
down.
so funny.
So great.
I love it. And again, once again, you don't have a problem with that movie of it being dated like we were talking about with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it's hand-drawn.
Right.
It's always going to be the same.
Yeah.
That's why Snow White looks great. And something like A Bug's Life or the original Toy Story, even though they're fantastic, now look dated.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I remember people be like, the very first Disney movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm like, there's no way this came out in the 30s.
I know,
like
right?
As a kid, it's 1995 and it looks just as good as a 1991 movie. Like, what's the?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Because hand-drawn animation, you can't go wrong with it.
You can't.
So, but you can't hand draw in animation to Star Wars. So
Right.
So what do you think, just to tie this all back together?
Yeah.
What do you expect with the third installment, Episode 9?
It's so up in the air. Now I have no expectations because I had so many for the last one and all of it was completely thrown out the window.
But you did like it, right? I mean,
yeah. Again, I liked it second viewing. I was less offended the second time around. The third one, God, man, I'm just hoping. Like, I hope answers are there for Snoke. I really hope there's a big battle between Rey and Kylo Ren. I like to see Kylo get his helmet back. I thought it was lame that they crushed his helmet. I mean, I want to see him go Vader, man.
Yeah, and obviously that's what he's trying to go for.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting with Snoke saying, "Take that ridiculous thing off."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
He doesn't need it.
But still, he was like, "You want to be Vader?" Like, yeah, I'm imitating Vader, dude. That's what I'm doing. It's my thing.
I'm still trying to figure out where they're going with that whole imagery of losing because he's not machine.
Yeah.
So for me, that's still, again, you go back to someone like J.K. Rowling, who is so good about tying in imagery.
Yeah.
And then you look at Star Wars and you think, what do they mean by that? And maybe I'm just maybe I'm just falling prey to too much imagery in today's world, but what is that all about? I just want to know. Why are they crushing his helmet?
Right.
Why did he have the crushed Darth Vader helmet to begin with? It was really creepy.
Well, it was weird about that. That was almost cut out of the original movie. And then he found a good place for it randomly. But, yeah, that almost wasn't there at all.
Grandfather,
Yeah. I know. I just don't. I mean, where did he get it? From the fire and Endor?
Yeah, exactly. Very, very, very strange.
Yeah.
Well, Derek, this has been another episode of To the Echo Radio Show.
Number 3.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Episode number 3. I'm loving this live. Do you like it live?
Yeah, it's good. It's fun.
You're enjoying that?
Yes, sir.
I think it's really cool. And we're glad you're joining us, too, here on iTunes Podcast and Spreaker Web Radio. We do it every Sunday night,
That's right.
8 p.m. So tune in next week. We'll have a lot more to talk about entertainment business. And if you want to sponsor the show, you let us know.
That's right.
See you next week, Derek.
See ya.